Good morning! Welcome to Natasha Makes, only it's not me making today. It's lovely Jane Alcock. Hello,
Hello,
Jane.
good morning.
How are you, my love?
I'm really well, thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah.
It was a bit soggy, wasn't it, driving in today?
Yeah. It was like, where's all this rain come from?
It's not needed,
No,
quite
well,
frankly.
No. I expect the gardeners and the farmers might disagree with us, but yeah.
Well, we'll have a conversation about that. You know. So, today's beautiful quilt. This one here, Jane, it's a monster.
Oh, but it's just lovely, and it's mode of fabric, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, it
and
certainly is.
classic creams and reds, which just are stunning. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Three Sisters, mode of fabric, absolute classic. This is one that will stand the test of time, absolutely for sure.
Yeah.
The beautiful gradation through all of the pinks and the reds. Well, it's the reds, isn't it, that kind of, when they're spaced with the creams, that make it pink. They're not actually pink necessarily. No. And then you've got those lovely taupe colours all the way through. I think it's a stunner. It is a whopping kit. It's over 8 metres, isn't it, fabric in there?
It is. We've got a lovely big fat quarter bundle with nearly the whole collection in. Not quite all the collection, but nearly the whole collection of the fabric.
Hooray!
And we've got the fabric by the half metre as well.
I mean, you can't ask for more than that, right?
Yeah.
Shall we see who's with us today? Shall we, on the Book of Faces? And hello to everyone who is YouTubing. We never get a stream from YouTube in here.
No.
So it's always Facebook. It's not that we don't love you YouTubers. We do. We do. Good morning, Lisa. What an amazing looking quilt. Yes, yes, yes. Good morning to Jane. Good morning to Auntie Lizzie. Good morning. Good morning, Bridget. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So the question is, why is that not working? Because then all the other comments come up, see? Me and technology. One day we'll be friends. Good morning, Jan. Good morning, Heather. From very murky South London.
Oh, I think they've got it even murkier down there, haven't they? There seems to be a very north-south divide from what the weatherman was saying.
And who have we got? Oh, Claire. Good morning, Claire. She's good morning, Natasha and Jane. What a stunning quilt. The Stitchy Witch has done it again. She sure has. And you know what, Jane? I'm so glad that you went with a whopper, because it means that we can really show off our set beautifully.
Yeah.
And this is the whole reason. Somebody said, oh, you're not having our, our beautiful dresser that we had in the other one because it showed off the fabric so beautifully. Yes, it did. But, Jane.
We struggled, didn't we, when we got big quilts?
Yeah. And so we'd go to all the bother of making a whopper, and then only half of it would be on set. Yeah. It's just not good enough. We need to see the whole lot. And here it is. Good morning, Rebecca. She says, morning, beautiful ladies. Oh, she can stay.
Yeah, she can stay. Thank you.
Finally back online after 3 weeks without broadband connection when my guttering fell down. What have I missed? Oh, so you missed... Gosh, where to start, Jane?
Yeah.
You missed the most beautiful velvet on a roll.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Now. Can I just point out, we loaded a whole load of others yesterday. We will hold these... So they're being, at the moment, they're being pre-ordered because they're going to do a print run just for Natasha Makes.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? And these are all made in France, produced in Europe, everything. So this isn't like it's got to come from China or anything else. This is all manufactured in the EU. So they will be coming across to us from there. What I didn't point out, because we didn't actually have it sent to us, but it's on its way. We've also got the teal version of this. I know. I know. So nice. Just, and have a look. So if you look for Odile Velvet, this will come up. But we're going to have to put the order in after the show. So we'll close it an hour after, when we come off air, an hour after we come off air, give you time to have a look when we're not on air. Ramage.
Yeah.
Ramage. But yeah, you did miss some of the most beautiful velvets. I mean, I made bags and cushions and all sorts from these. I might have to upholster a chair in this one.
Yeah. The vibrancy and the clearness of the print
is stunning.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It is absolutely
for a velvet
gorgeous
as well, because I mean, it's not a deep piled velvet, but it's still got that nap to it.
It feels amazing. And everybody that comes in goes, first they say is, what beautiful fabric. And then I say, they give me a weird look, and then they do this a bit, and go, oh, and it's stunning, really, really stunning.
It is. It's very tactile.
let's see who else is here, shall we? So that's what you missed, Rebecca. Yeah. Janet says, beautiful quilt. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Oriel. Wow, stunning quilt. Everyone loves the quilt. Morning, Rona. Morning, Anne. Just what I need after a nasty tooth extraction. Oh, poor you. Morning, Annie. Still here in the van. Wow, have a lovely time. Karen's here as well. She's a bit bleary-eyed. Spent the early hours at A&E with Alan. Apparently he's had an allergic reaction. Oh no. Oh gosh, I hope he's all right.
Oh gosh, that's so nice.
Myra is not taking video calls and keeping it clean today, so watching it from the bath. As you do. Of course, of course, of course. Norwich is bucketing down every half hour. So, in the time it took me to come here, make a few pumpkins, cut a few half meters, get all the half meter heavens sorted and everything, and then go home, our cellar had completely flooded with sewage and there was water pooling through the ceiling again. Yay! So
what a lovely thing to go back to.
Do you know, I'm just wondering whether or not it would be rude to just stay here if anyone's just going to notice. No.
The children will miss you.
Oh no, they can stay. Like we'll
It'll
put
be
a
an
few
adventure.
quilts.
Put some camp beds up in the
we've got a little
workroom.
space down there. Big quilt here will be fine.
It'll be lovely. We've got plenty of quilts to keep you warm.
Yes. And the Kaffe opens at 8, so we'll be sorted for breakfast.
I remember going to the shop once and it was snowing quite heavily and Glenn said, well, what will you do if you get stuck there? And I said, well, it'll be all right. Sleep under the table. It's got loads of quilts.
Yeah. No problem. No problem at all.
Keep me warm.
Right, half meter heavens, Jane. Without
Beautiful.
further ado, should we have a little look? Do you know what else we can do? Hang on.
Can you reach your little button to...
I don't know if I can reach that. Turn the camera around. So I don't know if I can, or where my button is to zoom. I don't know. I'll have another look. It's an interesting angle of me, isn't it? I'll investigate that. Anyway, in the meantime...
We could do it with a little remote, couldn't we? So we could just zip it.
Do you think you can get remotes for them?
I don't know.
Oh, there we go. Oh, no, wrong way. This way. Whee! There we go.
Wow.
This is from Janet Clare. I love Janet Clare.
I do.
Firstly, because she's a lovely woman.
Yes, absolutely.
And I used to love working with Janet Clare. I worked on
I've never met her personally, but I've watched lots of her YouTube videos and things.
She's just
such a
utterly
beautiful
lovely.
Designer.
Really, really lovely. Just in every way, really lovely. So this is from Janet Clare.
It was so lovely when she got taken in by Moda to do the designing for that with them.
Such a handful, such a small handful of British designers, isn't there, that Moda would even look at. So, Jane, this week, I feel, because you came in sort of midway through me half meter hovering all over the shop, what I've tried to do is create almost mini bundles that you can pick at as you wish. So if you wanted to go for the 2 different colourways, I've put the paprika with the grey. I've put the, gosh, was that khaki in the end?
It's
khaki with the lighter one. But if you wanted to buy both, you've got enough for a quilt and it's going to look gorgeous together and those colours really complement. So that's what I've tried to do. Yeah, I'm just thinking outside the box, Jane, you know.
Well, I think it's a nice idea and it's lovely because we've said before, haven't we, that sometimes through the internet and what have you, you can't always get an idea of the right colour. No. And so we've tried to, help you out by putting lovely colours together.
The other situation is that we quilt. We are people who quilt and who craft.
Yeah.
So we're putting these together how we would want them, quite frankly. This is the Caladiums blue with marine.
The colours in that are just so vibrant and you've got such a lovely, well, there are colours, aren't they? Because we love teals and greens and blues. Really pretty. Really, I love it's vibrant. I love the vibrancy of it.
Quite frankly, it'd be rude not to. This is one of the, and also what a treat, this is one of the brand new ones that's just out, just so that you know. Now, Tim Holtz. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
We love Tim Holtz fabrics.
Firstly, from a paper crafting point of view, that's when I first discovered Tim Holtz. You can imagine my excitement when I then discovered that actually his fabric was digitally printed. Digitally printed fabric from Tim Holtz. I mean, yes.
Absolutely.
Now, this goes with Latte. Now, latte is one of the new colours that we've had in.
Yes.
And it is rather stunning. It's delicate. Bear in mind, when we take photos of these in our light box, it's going to wash that colour out completely.
Yes,
You're barely going to see it. Yeah, there are a couple of colours that our light box just doesn't like and can't cope with, so I will warn you. So look at the show, look at the delicate colour. We were very, very careful about what delicate colour we put with this, and it's just a little hint lighter than Australia. Just so you know.
Just so you know.
But it creates a really, really pretty bundle. And that wasn't what I was expecting with the maps. I was expecting it to be quite masculine. But
it's
actually,
quite funny because latte on its own, you sort of, well, it feels like it's sort of like a coffee tone because it's called latte.
Yeah.
But then when you put it with this, it brings out this pink tone to it, which is so delicate. And
really
like you
gorgeous.
say, makes what could be classed as a masculine fabric quite pretty.
Right. So Jane, here's the situation again, right? Tim Holtz again. Silver mink, one of my favourites because it's just, everybody should have some silver mink in their life. And I don't mean the one that needs its own air-conditioned cooled room. No, I mean this. And letters, they're so useful.
They are, they're a good staple, aren't they?
They are. Just have it in your life. You can spell out the words from that, you can do whatever you want. But here's the thing, you've got that distress look. And again, if you wanted to buy all of that as a bundle, look how beautifully those work together for a start. And then, you know, you've got options, Jane. I think everybody should always have options. That is my main thing in life. We should all have fabric-based options.
Absolutely.
Yeah, rude not to, wouldn't it? Right, now, art gallery fabrics.
We love art gallery fabrics.
If you have never, ever tried art gallery fabrics, please give it a go.
It's a beautiful base cloth.
So their strapline is feel the difference.
Yeah.
And when you get it, you will feel the difference straight away. There's absolutely no doubt about that. For the simple reason that they use a Pima cotton.
It's
organic. It's organic, it's Oteotech, so it's all good, and it's all, it means that you can use it safely for children's wear and all that kind of stuff. But also the type of cotton that it is makes it feel almost halfway towards cotton lawn.
Yeah.
Now don't think that means it's not robust. It's the opposite. In fact, did you know that a lot of companies that offer cotton lawn fabrics made goods, they often offer a lifetime guarantee.
Really?
Yeah. I remember doing a show, gosh, where was it? And talking to, I'm just trying to think who it was now, but one of the clothing companies next to us.
Yeah.
They only used Pima cotton.
Wow.
And they always put a lifetime guarantee on their clothes because they said it's just so robust.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing, yeah. Land's End, that's who it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like theirs.
Mm-hmm. Right, so we've done it again. If you would like it with spearmint, this one, then you can. It just picks that out, doesn't it? Or if you want it with peach, you've got it there. It is very, very pretty.
It is.
Very,
Absolutely.
very pretty. And you're just going to love the feel of the fabric. It's just beautiful. And normally, you see, because of that quality of the fabric, art gallery fabrics sell for more. I remember when we were at Sewing Quarter, asking the buyer, but why is this fabric always that much more expensive? In the end, I had to go and do my own research, find out. And that was what I discovered, was because of the base cloth was such, you know, just so beautiful. We discovered that this is actually quite calming with that pink, isn't it?
Yes.
So what we've done in terms of the Kaffe colourways, so this is the Kaffe Fassett Collective. This is a Brandon Mabley one. And it does actually spell out Kaffe in there somewhere. If you
There it is.
Yeah, if you look carefully, it's A Maze, which is Brandon's.
Yeah.
And we've
popped
it. Yeah, it is. But actually, this is going to be a blender.
Yes.
Or you can use it almost like a solid.
Yeah. Make beautiful linings and things like that in bags.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely lovely.
Or just where you just need a breather.
Yeah, just a little bit of a...
So, same situation that I've kind of gone down here. what I've put together with the Fassett collectives today is colours that work together. Just going to throw that out there.
A little bit of apple.
Right, Jane, apple.
With oranges.
With oranges, yeah. Blue oranges with apple. What we need to know about this is, again, this is one of our planes that our light box washes out.
Yeah, it makes it look a bit...
Yeah, so the image when you see this on the website tomorrow is not going to look this good.
No.
This is a far truer representation because we've had all the colour, all of the cameras here colour balanced and all of that jazz.
Lovely.
But as soon as that goes in the white light box, it just does something to apple. Same with the lighter one as well, the one that's one lighter. Can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just washes it out, which is such a shame because it's such a pretty colour and it just doesn't give a favourable representation of it. So just know that that is gorgeous. And I'm just going to start to, just so that you get a little idea of how those might all play quite nicely together. So, Koi Polloi.
Which we love.
And of
Just
course,
for the name.
Yeah, I know, right? It has to be Brandon's, doesn't it? Just
Yeah.
has to be Brandon's Koi Polloi. Again, it's going to sit in this colour range here, but let's start to introduce. It's not peach.
Is it not?
It is suitably named salmon
Aha!
for your Koi Polloi. Yes,
Lovely.
isn't it? Arr.
Super.
I don't know why I sound like a pirate then, but that is just my take on that. And then, sticking with these greens and these pinks. Love, 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 love this one. This is one of Kaffe's. And in fact, the very first time that I met Kaffe, he brought in his actual painted version of one of the other colourways of this.
Oh, wow.
And it's just absolutely stunning. And the fabric sat over the top of it perfectly. It was one of those moments that you just go, oh, it's amazing. Just
Beautiful.
amazing. We have popped with it bright pink. Ping, 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 ping. We tried lots of other colours with this, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And we went with this because we just thought, we tried to put the magenta with it, didn't we?
Yeah, and it dulled it.
It did.
Took it all
Fun
back.
away.
Yeah.
This is your embroidered flower from the Fassett Collective. So what we now have, Jane, is a situation where if you were to go for a few, this is no accident. The fact that it's both those colours that go into there.
No, exactly.
Okay. It really is no accident. It is no accident that if I put that there, what you might well notice is that actually, I haven't put it in shot of the camera. I mean, you might start to know.
Yeah, just cause a little bit of the...
Yeah. And if you just want a little bit of different fun in there, then why not start to look at your Koi Polloi? But also with that salmon came the climbing, whatever they're called. What are they called? Geraniums. And I just love the fact that that is just a shade darker, but that just lifts it.
It makes it pulls the pinks up,
Doesn't
I
it?
think, and
Doesn't
that's
it?
really... I love the way colour plays against each other.
We spend hours playing with colour, don't we? And
Yes.
and it's our joy. It's what
It's
we...
a hard job, but somebody's got to do it.
Do you know, Jane, really, yeah, it was that or go and,
Sort
mooch
your
around
cellar
in a
Bubble.
sewage-smelling cellar. So, this one, hands down, this one.
Funnily enough, yeah.
Art Gallery Fabrics,
I love this fabric. It's lovely.
Barry J. I love Barry J.
That is a gorgeous print.
Isn't it? And again, feels gorgeous. So here was the thing, right?
Ooh,
Yeah. So I had to go with Jade.
absolutely.
But I couldn't ignore the fact that raspberry was very much there.
And looks beautiful with the jade as well.
I know. And again, it's getting those colour tones that are going to work well together here if you're going to pair and mix and match through. So then I had a conundrum, Jane.
Oh no.
I know, a conundrum, let me tell you. Because also from Art Gallery Fabrics came this.
That is gorgeous.
Right? So what we've suddenly got is almost a ditzy. We've got a beautiful large.
Scale.
Yeah. So what was I to do? I've put it with a shade darker. That's your Baltic.
Perfect.
which is going to work over here tonally.
Yeah.
Do you know what else I did with it? I've also offered it up with, a lot of velvet on there.
You can tell what we were cutting
Yeah,
before.
yeah, with some rose.
Lovely.
Because there is, in here, there is that lighter shade of rose, but also you can play with all of those, and as a collection, they're going to go really beautifully together.
Nice.
So that, Jane, is what I've been doing this morning.
Terrible.
I know.
Hard work. Awful
know.
for you.
Just sit down and a cup of tea. But I've got an extra one.
Yeah. Carry the baby children.
All the fabric. So yeah, that's what we've done today. So just a reminder, the last call for this fabric run, in terms of the velvets, do take a look, because we're going to have to get those across. Otherwise, everyone's going to be waiting for their fabrics going, where are they? Where are they? They will try and get them turned around as soon as they can, but it is being printed specially for us.
That's amazing.
Do you know, we were looking on Facebook the other day, and stuff had come up that it was 2 years since, we started to know that we were going to be made redundant, and all of this kind of came about. And it's quite epic to think that in that time, we are now at a point where designers will do a print run for us.
Yeah.
For us. That's pretty special.
That's something to be proud of, I think. I think you
You
should.
lot.
Yeah, well,
So, it's
you need
a group
somebody
effort,
to
isn't
have
it? Do you know what else we got today?
What? Oh yeah, these. Well, I was hoping you weren't going to tell anyone about these.
I know. But
at this.
here's the thing, Jane. I ordered these 6 months ago. 6 months ago. For you, because.
Because of the
Yeah.
wonderful things she does.
Doodle-oo-doodle-oo-doodle-doo. 108 backing. Okay. In a rainbow.
In an ombre.
In an ombre. That's half.
stunning.
So that's it, halfway, half width.
And it does the same on the other side, so it goes
Exactly,
from this
you know,
side
exactly the same
light to
there.
dark.
So it ombres all the way through with little dots in there as well. I got the full collection because I couldn't choose. So we've put it at a really special price of £12.99 per half metre. Now 108, when we say 108, that is 270 centimetres wide. So you have options. This is a quilting weight as well. You're going to be able to quilt with this if you want. So if you've taken what you need for the back of your quilt, bearing in mind, Jane, that uses 8.5 metres of fabric, and half the width would almost do that.
Yeah. If you bought a 1.5 metre piece of this, 3 units, you would have enough to do your quilt.
And also you'd have a
No,
whole
you wouldn't
load.
actually. You'd need more because it's 63. So you'd need You'd need 2 metres.
So
you need 4 units.
4 units, but you'd have a whole load left over in terms of, you'd have you'd have a good ombre to then play with.
There's
Maybe you would bind, a quilt with it. You start getting into that situation, don't you, where your backing can then, with what you've got left over, bind and do all sorts.
You could take one of these fabrics and you could do the trip around the world style strips in the ombre. So you'd strip it with the fabric,
Beautiful.
cut it up, and then you'd be able to
Amazing.
make it into trip around world style.
So we've got them in every colour. So if you wanted to ombre your rainbow in, do you know what, actually, Jane, we say it's a backing fabric, but there's absolutely no reason to stop you using this full width, and like you say, just doing a strip quilt
Yeah.
would be
And
stunning.
Can you
And
imagine
easy.
making a jacket or a dress with this fabric?
Yes.
With a skirt that starts off light and goes into a border of a dark.
It feels almost
Karen.
mercerised. It's it's a lovely weight.
It is. It's a beautiful weight of cotton.
and very almost slinky.
Yes.
Gorgeous. Thank you for that.
Well, it's Fee and Co, and again, it's a mode of fabric. So
Yeah.
quality. I think everybody knows that mode of fabric is a quality fabric.
I think so.
There's no doubting.
So we have got the full ombre. So hopefully there's a colour in there that will suit. If I were doing the back of this one, Jane, I'd go for that one.
Yeah, I think I would, because the red is a bit pinky, but
Yeah.
the red wouldn't look strange on it. But yeah, I'd
One of
definitely
those
go for
top
these
ones.
neutrals.
Those neutrals there, because that would pick up the taupes from the back.
Yeah, and because you're binding it, well, I've chosen that the binding's red. It would look lovely against it.
Oh, I'm going to get out your way
Okay.
so that you can do your thing
Okay.
over here. I might just have to venture back when the battery dies on this because, you know, I left it on. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we have a little tale to tell. There's always a little story.
Oh, Jane, I'm going to have to just, you know. Oh, hang on.
Walk in front of the camera.
No, I'm not going to change the camera angle so I
Alright,
don't.
Cool.
I know, I've got the technology.
There's always a little tale to tell when it comes to my quilts. I don't know why. Just that's the way things go. We've had fun with this. The fabrics came in and I was just like, oh, can I do something with these? Going back up a bit.
There you go, just so that you've got your full table.
Lovely.
It's not smooth, my camera operation, is it? It's a bit like, but we get there.
Yeah, we got the option, haven't we? We've got
Yeah.
the option to do that. So we've got a lovely fat quarter bundle, and as I say, we've got virtually the whole collection of the Moda. Three Sisters, Cranberries and Creams. We have got the whole collection of the fabric, which you can buy by the half metre. But in the bundle, we've got 14 reds, going from light to dark, and 14 creams from light to dark. So there's 28 fat quarters there.
Beautiful.
You've got 3/4 of a metre, which I'm calling your border,
Okay.
but it's actually triangles that set around the edge.
Yes.
And then we've got 1/2 metre for the binding,
Beautiful.
which I've chosen this lovely, more or less plain red, but it's not quite because none of it's plain fabric.
None of it's plain, is it? Do you want to put that on a close-up so we can see
ditzy.
why it's not plain?
It is a beautiful, swirly sprig type.
Look at
And
that.
the fabric has got a little bit of a shading going through it as well.
That's the detail that you get, isn't
Yeah.
it, with Three Sisters? It's really beautiful.
I love Three Sisters fabric. Being a traditional patchworker, there's a lovely selection of scale of prints, from your large print for the borders to your small ditsies for your smaller pieces of patchwork.
They've got it all, haven't they?
Now, I get a lot of my inspiration by going and looking either on Pinterest, or I go into the Moda Bake Shop on their website.
Yes.
Because they offer a lot of free patterns
Right.
out there that you can use for yourself. They're primarily aimed at the retail business, for them to use for inspiration because they want to sell the fabric.
Yeah,
so
of
it will
course.
quite often
All works in everyone's
use-
favour.
Yeah, it's a resource that
Great.
they're very happy for people to use. So I found a Three Sisters pattern. They're quite known for their red and cream quilts, Three Sisters.
Of course.
I found a pattern from a previous collection that was red and cream.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is perfect for our fabric.
We need
we've
this in
got.
our lives.
It's a Three Sisters pattern, so the scale of prints and things are similar. Red and cream is going to work a charm. So I just quickly whipped off a fat quarter of all of the fabrics and took them back with me to do my pattern with, and just chopped into all of them.
Yeah.
Put it together.
Yeah.
Put it on the wall.
Did you put it together willy-nilly?
Yes,
Okay.
very random, which
Right.
for people that know me goes completely against the grain, because I'm very OCD and I like things structured, but I went for it.
Yeah.
And I can't use the word that I want to use because it makes it sound wrong. So I'm unhappy with it.
So you've
Only
got...
because...
I was going to say you've got willy-nilly regret.
Yes.
Which
Yeah,
sounds really,
really
really
wrong.
wrong. But you know what I mean. You
Yes.
put it together, however it happened, and
And I really went for it.
yes,
Now, you have to bear in mind that I just said to you previously, we've got nearly all of the whole collection in the fat quarters.
yes,
I took some out from what I've used in this quilt, because I don't know if you can probably see it on the camera. It doesn't give you quite the red bands that I was hoping for,
right.
because there's quite a bit
Oh,
of
some of them are lighter.
pale, and they don't give the definition.
So you've basically taken the pale out, put a darker one in.
Yeah.
So
yours will have a better definition, I feel.
Yours will look how you wanted this one to look.
Yes.
We still love this one.
That's the hope. But it's gorgeous and we love it. And actually, I quite like the fact that it doesn't, it's
so funny, isn't it? Because I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, and I can't see any issue with it at all. But I know.
But I quite like the fragmentation of it because it's not a defined, but you see it. When you look at it after a while, you start to see the bands of colour in it.
And for me, that makes an interesting quilt.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you come back to and you see into more of as you go. A bit like Myra, who's just had a delivery. So she's opened her front door in a fluffy white bathrobe to an audience. She's now got men laying slabs down the pathway. They are also seeing more than they wanted to this morning. So, you know, interesting.
Yeah.
Could this be done with a layer cake? Amanda, yes. Originally the pattern was with a layer cake. Because we didn't have layer cakes, Jane's rewritten it for fat quarters.
Yeah. I have adapted the pattern. I haven't changed any measurements. I haven't changed any of the construction of the quilt, but I've adapted it to use yardage because the pattern originally was for a layer cake. So I've just changed it, which means that you're going to get quite a bit left over on your fat quarter, which is always a bonus because you can make yourself cushions or even another quilt. But you'd need more of the binding and the border.
Which you can buy because we've got all of them by the half metre. So if you look to the right-hand side of where, well, as I look at the camera, there, over there, yeah. The one that's not the 108s. Basically, that is the complete collection.
It's you can see the beautiful, this is like one pattern way there. You've got a very dark tone on tone. Then they start to bring the cream tones in on the scale of the pattern. Then they reverse it, so the cream's the background with the red on the flower, and then they do a tone on tone of cream. And they've done that more or less through all the patterns. It goes from this beautiful floral, large scale floral. There's another large scale floral, which is like chrysanthemums. Which is beautiful, and again there's all the colourways in there. You've got a beautiful paisley.
Oh, I love the paisley.
There's a paisley with little bits of floral in there, in all those colour tones, which is lovely. There's one with a little ditzy star on, and then you've got little ditzy florals. That's the red version of the cream there.
Oh, I nicked a bit of the ditzy star one.
Yeah.
I think we made it in. We had it in one of the Kaffe Hardcastle ones as paws or something.
Lovely,
a rabbit.
Ditzy like spriggy sort of little posy flowers in the creams and the reds. The little ditzy star, and then this one with the roses on, which I think is so pretty. I don't know if they are roses, but they look like roses to me. As I say, we've got this. I think that's more petunia actually than chrysanthemummy. But I love that. I love that pattern. I think it's gorgeous.
Flowers. Look at the flowers, basically, is what we're going to say.
And then this one, which I think looks sort of Indian block floral pattern, which sort of mirrors the paisley.
Yes.
Which is lovely. And again, on all the colourways. It's such a really classic... classic moda to me. It's beautiful.
It's timeless.
It is,
and that's what you get with Three Sisters. Is you get that timeless colour and colourway as well.
Yeah.
This looks like a red work quilt. I know you've got the taupes in there, but it's got that kind of feel.
Yes, it has.
John would like to have a little comment about the confetti moda ombre fabrics. He said is without question divine.
Absolutely.
Which is also very, very true. Karen is swooning over those. I think there'll be some dresses.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping for some ombre dresses.
Karen's going to Morrison's in a dress made out of the ombre.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
And Alison, bless you, she says you should be proud of setting up a new business and a new and successful business during such challenging times.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alison. Do you know what? I don't know any different.
Yes,
I don't know a world of running a business without, you know, all of the logistical nightmares.
No, I was going to say, you'll find from now on, you'll find your business quite easy to run, because I think you've overcome most hurdles that had to be overcome that have never been experienced by businesses before.
Do you know what? Thank goodness we moved all of this fabric before the sewage situation at home.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine? It'd be awful.
Oh, it would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. So, you know, grateful for lots of things this morning. Morning, Laurie. Also grateful for Laurie. Oh, John says it's the best fabric I've ever had from Moda. The quality is sublime. And Claire says that she needs to use the fabric she's bought before she gets any more.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I mean, that's everyone's intention, isn't it, really?
We
however,
like to do that.
However, oh my goodness me. I think, Maura, you just need to give up on your bath, love. Should I give up? House phone ringing, dripping wet, soap in my eyes, heating engineer coming Friday. It's very busy there, isn't it?
It is. It's all go.
Yeah.
These are the just for information purposes only, because we have these by the half metre. They're delicious fabrics, but these are the 3 that I swapped out of my bundle that I've used here.
Right.
So we've got darker tones within the new bundle. You can see they're quite pale.
Yeah.
And that's gorgeous, but the background is quite light on that. It's not as creamy as the others.
Kirsty's saying I have the French General Chafakani fat quarters still. They'd look fab in this pattern. Yes, they would. And the other thing to say about that is that if you've got any gaps in your Chafakani,
these will fill them.
These will fill them.
Absolutely.
You know, they will, because it's from Moda, it's coming with the same tone colourway from that red as well. So you can mix Moda, Three Sisters and Chafakani, which was...
I also feel, because again, I'm quite a traditional type person, and I like red and cream and white for Christmas, I feel that's quite Christmassy.
Yes.
I could see that over the back of my sofa at Christmas.
Yeah, and you know what, then I'd want to move it into the kitchen and redo my kitchen so that I had a farmhouse feel kitchen with reds, which I don't have, but I think would look amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, shall we show you how we made it? Shall we do that? It's all half square triangles. Would you believe that? Yes, it is. Done in bands on the diagonal. So on point half square triangles.
Oh, I love it.
Which you make in rows, and that comes together and makes this square within a square of bands of colour. It's a lovely quilt to make. It's quite quick.
Is it difficult?
No.
Really?
Not at all.
Okay.
We've taken parts of the original pattern from Moda. There is a chart within the pattern from Moda, and Josh, bless his heart, has worked really hard to try and reproduce this chart for me, because I was like, no, I need it to do this and I need it to say that, and where it says that I needed to change that to say this.
Yeah.
And he's like,
well, this is it. So Helen says, I'm not a lover of red and white quilts, but this is fantastic.
Yeah.
It truly is. I could see that in a bedroom as well.
Yeah.
And you could pull some pink throughs as well.
Yeah,
It
it's
would
just
be
a
gorgeous.
lovely, it's a lovely quilt to make. And when I was making it, I was thinking you could have really fun with this pattern. You could take the bands of colour.
Yeah.
Make it more modern.
You could do anything with it.
You could just have lovely fun with it. But these fabrics are just beautiful, and I think they set it off lovely. So
it might be that you just want a stash of 8.5 metres of Moda,
why
fabric,
not?
in which
Red
case
and white, you can use them for anything,
you're
can't you?
gonna be
They're
getting
classic, and they can be built into mix with other Modas
Yep.
that you may have. The chart, we put the chart in because I thought you might die of absolute boredom and get completely confused if I went, row 1 is, so 4, triangles together, row 2 is do this, and it's like there's 20 rows there, which would have made the instructions into a booklet rather than a set of instructions. So this is why Josh has done the chart. So we've just referring to the chart, because you can see quite easily how the half square triangles go together in the rows to create the pattern. And you'll be able to see that in your pattern. So the pattern is slightly different to the way we usually do it, because we've incorporated some of the instruction from the original, because obviously it isn't my creation. So, layer cakes, they're 10-inch squares. We are wanting 4-inch finished half square triangle units, so they would need to be 4.5 before we join them together. half square triangles, you add 7/8 of an inch to make a half square triangle because of your two
Yeah, my head hurts already.
seams. Yeah, it's
What
all
do we
this
need?
maths.
Wait.
Now, I've shown you before how to do 8 half square triangles in one go. And you start by doubling your size of your triangle, square unit, half square triangle unit that
Yeah.
you want. So we want it 4 finished, so
Yeah.
that would be 8. And
4
then,
or 4.5 inch finished.
no, 4 finished.
Right, okay.
So we always add on, and the magic number here for the 8 units is 1 3/4. Whatever size you want finished,
Right.
you times your finished size by 2 and add on 1 3/4 inches. So for 8 you would need a 9 3/4 inch square to make 8 half square triangles.
Yep.
I'm going to say this really quickly so that you don't get over-phased by it. You need 224 triangles to make this quilt.
That's why God invented the strapology ruler.
Yes.
Um,
But I came up with a way of doing 16 triangles in one go.
what? Jane!
This is based on the fact that you can do 8 with a square.
Yeah.
So if you imagine putting 2 squares together to make a rectangle, it's 9 3/4 that way because that's what we need for a square.
Yeah.
And then 2 lots of 9 3/4 are 19.5 inches that way. So from your fat quarter, if you can imagine, this is the fat quarter piece and that piece taken out. That's what you need. And I've put a light and a dark together, so a red and a cream. You're going to have that left over, which actually would get another set of triangles out
Amazing.
of it. So from your fat quarters, as I say, you could make another quilt or cushions to go with it. But you would need to get your border and your binding fabric on top.
Okay.
So we have got here 9 3/4 inch rectangle, 9 3/4 by 19.5, because we are going to make 16 triangles in one go. You're going to need your fabric marker and your ruler, and we go make this into 2 squares, which is 9 3/4.
Can you just move it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank
we
you. There you
go.
go. Perfect.
9 3/4. So lining that, I'm going to use my mat for my measurements. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then put the 3/4 inch mark on that 9 and draw a line. That effectively makes 2 9 3/4 inch squares.
Right.
And then we're going to draw the diagonal going from the top corner to the bottom of that line on that side. I'm using a water erasable marker. It doesn't matter, we're going to cut on these lines, so it doesn't matter what sort of marker you use because you're going to cut on it and it'll disappear.
Yeah. Got it.
So we're going to do diagonals on both of those squares that we have now created.
Right.
You will need to prepare your fabric with your flatter best press, spray starch, whatever, because you are doing so many triangles and you are cutting on biased edges. It really
Okay.
will help you.
All right.
So you have effectively got a grid there.
Joan, you know what we haven't mentioned, don't you?
What's that?
Is that there is actually a £25 saving on that fabric bundle, by the way.
Is there?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I was feeling generous this morning.
Yeah, that's really lovely.
Well, I love the quilt. I think
Yes.
it's really, really beautiful, and I would want to make it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I personally could justify going over 100,
Yes,
so I brought it in at 99 for you
that's
for 8.5
amazing.
metres of fabric because it's what I would want.
Yeah.
Probably
you
makes
can,
me a really
'cause it's
rubbish
your-
businesswoman,
No, I think
but it's kind of what I would want. So I was like, do you know what? Let's just do it.
Yes.
I forgot to say about that because we don't normally talk about price, do we? But anyway,
No, that's true.
there we go. No,
Yeah,
just thought I'd mention.
that's really nice.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
Right.
So now as we do with half square triangles, we are going to sew 1/4 inch either side of these diagonal lines. Just the diagonal line, not this middle one. This is just a marking as a guide.
Mm-hmm.
So 1/4 inch either side of these. Now what we can do is, because we can do one continuous line with this. So we'll start here and we'll do a 1/4 inch.
Oh, there we go.
Put my glasses on.
It's gonna help.
It always does. Make sure I've got my pedal the right way round. Oh. There we go. Oh, I've got the walking foot on because I was quilting last time I used this machine. There we go. That's why it was making a funny clunky noise then. There we are.
So this is going to speed up the process, isn't it?
Yeah,
Quite considerably.
this takes out the monotony of making. So when you get to this diagonal, you'll come to the straight line that mark the squares in half, and if you can stop stitching there,
Yeah.
you'll be 1/4 inch away from the other line.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
So you can then just pivot your fabric and go down the other diagonal.
Okay. So needle down, pivot.
Yeah,
Off we go.
absolutely. Then we can just stop here and we can just lift our needle and just give it a little tug and just take it back around the other side of the diagonal.
Well, this is all looking pretty simple at the moment.
It is, it's very straightforward.
So what I would recommend, because you're going to be cutting through how many layers here, Jane?
There's just two. There's 2 layers of fabric.
Right.
Make sure, I think before you start this project, this is definitely one to make sure that you've got a nice new blade in your rotary cutter.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because you are going to do a lot of cutting.
Yes, that was kind of where I was getting to.
I would suggest that you do cut them in pairs.
Oh, okay.
It does help. It keeps them together. And again, saves a bit of time really. So sort of pair up your...
Is this all in your instructions?
I don't talk about pairing up the fabrics and cutting it. I just say about cutting from each one, cutting your square. But it is something that I think might
Well, I
help.
guess the thing is, you know, if people are doing this from a using, you know, say they've got still the Chafakani or they want to do it in other colours.
Yes.
By the way, watch out for next week because we've got green, greys and pinks that would look beautiful in this as well.
Yeah.
They've just come in. Oh, Jane, we've got some gorgeous fabrics at the moment.
We have. I walked in this morning and Natasha said, "Look at these that have come," and I was like, "Ah!"
I know. I was going to give you a separate colourway, another colourway, and then we were like, actually, do you know what? Next week we'll have those too.
Because I'm doing a pattern next week with the Christopher Wilson tape. Yellows
lovely.
and blues.
So that's going to be really nice. So next
And
week
so
it'll
the-
be yellows and blues and then a pinks and greys.
Pinks and greys version
Beautiful.
of that would look stunning.
Yep. We've got quite a bit of motor in actually, haven't we, at the minute?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. Like in my element. Don't get me wrong, I love the big scale cave fabrics as well, but
When Jane and I first started working together, it became very clear that Jane, because Jane knows how to deal with all the fabrics I don't. So all the little ditsies and things like that, Jane would get really excited about, and I would be there with the capes going, I only know what to do with these. I don't know what to do. They're very pretty, and I can see that they are gorgeous fabrics. What do I do with them? So I think we complement each other really
I think
nicely.
it does actually, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, that's how we work. I always say I only ever employ people that are better than me.
I don't know about better, but definitely come at things from a different angle.
There's no point in employing anyone who's the same, is there? You know, absolutely not. So it's a nice little team of varying varying talents.
Absolutely.
That's what
Which work together beautifully.
So this is going to give us 16.
Yeah.
So how many? Oh, I don't want to do the maths.
Well, this is why you've got 14 back quarters.
Oh, so you just go with your fat
14
quarters.
pairs.
Right.
So we've got 14 reds and 14 creams.
Got
so 14
it.
pairs.
Yeah.
Made into 16.
Yeah. With it now. So actually, Jane's done all of the hard
I've done all the
maths
maths
for you.
so that this is why you haven't actually got quite the full collection of the fabric.
Perfect.
But near enough. Okay. I'm just going to give that a bit of a press because
Oh, did we turn the iron on?
No.
Okay. It needs a moment, that one.
I think the machine wasn't quite threaded correctly. I think it's popped out of something somewhere, so it's just pulling a little bit. But you won't have that problem with your fabric because your machine will be threaded properly, and you will
All of that.
have it all working beautifully.
Myra, I think Lizzie is here.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you've got a rectangle with your 2 diagonals marked on
Right.
each side and that line there.
Okay.
Now we're making 4-inch finished. So when we want to make 4-inch finished, when we cut a single square for 4-inch finished, we cut it at 4 7/8. So we now need to measure 4 7/8 from this edge here, which should come through the middle of your diagonal.
Oh,
there.
nice, if you've played it right.
If you got it correct. So you cut that strip,
Mm-hmm.
you then cut through that middle line, and then you cut 4 7/8 from that middle line,
Right.
which should come through the middle of your diagonal again.
But again, just double check, right?
Yeah. So you have basically cut it into 4 rectangles.
Okay.
Just don't do this when you're cutting it. Keep it all together. Don't move it. Okay, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes because I can.
Because you're demoing. Yeah.
'cause I can.
You know,
So
that,
you
that
will end
reason.
up with 4 rectangles like so. Don't move yours like that. Just keep it together. You then cut it.
We're all
4
just trying to keep it together, Jane.
Yeah. 4 7/8 up from the bottom of the rectangle. So I've got my 4 7/8 mark there. And again, it should hit through the middle of the diagonal on your rectangles. Can you see where we're going now? I think you can start to see now what's happening. So you've now got, in effect, 8 squares. Now at this point you can move it because all you're going to do now is take one of these squares and cut through that marked diagonal,
Aha. Perfect.
producing. Now if you leave it in the rectangle, of course, and don't move it, you can just go through 2 at a time
Perfect. Yes.
like that.
However, Jane moved it.
But I move mine for demonstration purposes. You can then cut it like that. So again, that saves you time. You wouldn't have to worry about cutting each one individually.
There we go. Perfect.
And so you have 16 half square triangles cut, ready to press
Wow.
really quite quickly.
Yeah.
which it always helps, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think if I said to you, right, make me 224 half square triangles, you'd be like,
I'd say, I'm
Do I
sorry,
have to?
Jane, I'm busy.
yeah, do I have to? If you want to take a bit more time and you want to have a bit more variety, you could cut 9 3/4 inch squares and make 8. So you could mix them up. Do you know what I mean? You could, because these are all going to be the same.
Yeah.
But you could mix up your creams and your reds if you did it with squares.
Yeah.
So you'd have a bit more variety. But if you want to make it quickly and get it done, this is a lovely way of, a quick way of making a lot of half square triangles in one go.
Perfect. Sometimes that methodical approach just is quite, it's quite nice. If like me, you've got quite a busy head going on.
Yes.
I really like something that I can just be methodical with.
Yeah.
I also really like that new iron, Jane. I'm just saying.
It's a bit gorgeous,
It
isn't it?
is a bit good. And anybody that knows me knows that I don't normally get excited about irons.
It's a
this
lovely weight, and the fact that it's a, oh, it is steam. Yeah, it's a steam. But
Oh, yes.
it's like,
Forgot about that.
it's like the old-fashioned hot irons that they used
It's
to put
got-
in the fire and.
Yes, it's got a really thick, heavy, hot plate, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you do literally just press it.
Yeah.
Jane, I bought something.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's quite unlike you.
I know, right?
Because you don't like buying things.
I
do you,
hate
Natasha?
buying things. It's my favourite thing to do. That's why this job just itches that scratch straight
Yeah.
off. But I found it and I thought I'd put it on your show
Yes.
because we've had similar but not the same before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw them,
No.
but you might like to explain to everyone what they are.
Yes, that sounds interesting. I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, not to put you on the spot or anything, but just when you've finished your
I've done
ironing.
the ironing. Oh.
Oh, when I see them, I get them. They don't come up very often,
Do you know what?
but I am a little.
I was going to talk to you about these
Were you?
because the idea I've got for next year's block of the month,
Yeah.
I think the blocks can be used individually, and I thought they'd be nice on a frame like this.
Oh well, there you go. There you go.
This is like
however, I'm not
synchronised
gonna-
thinking
I
without
know.
even opening our mouths.
It's how it happens here. It's all good.
Let's just talk about it.
Let's
Just talk about it.
just talk about. Yeah, no, we've had people asking what it is, what is going on.
Can I open it?
Yeah, of course you can.
This is beautiful. This is a little quilt frame. This is freestanding. I have one like this at home with a beautiful little quilt that I made. And it says, anybody can count the seeds in an apple, but only God knows how many apples are in the seed. Which I think is really nice.
Oh, hang on, say that again.
Anyone can count the seeds in an apple,
Yeah.
but only God knows how many apples are in the seed.
Oh, I like that.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just having a look at this and seeing how it goes together.
Hopefully easier than half the set that I had to drill and screw and
Yes.
everything else. Would be my hope.
This is the...
So not to put you, on the spot at all with
No.
that,
I think this is where the feet go. No, it can't go that way.
So the good news is I've just had notification that the remainder of Odil's velvet stock that she had has now been shipped, and then the extra stuff that will go in today's order.
Ta-da!
Oh, look at that!
So you would make a sleeve and you'd hang your little quilt on there. So
Oh,
if
that's
you've got a really
lovely.
pretty block, that you love the block, but you're like, I like the block, but I don't know if I want to make a whole quilt with it,
Yeah,
you could just hang it from there.
it's rather lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. And, your Odile velvets that you just can't bear to cut into.
Could just hang
Have a
there.
piece on there.
Oh, perfect.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I love the scrolly, roundy bits at
Yeah.
the bottom as well. I don't have all the technical words for that, but you know what I mean.
beautiful.
Metalwork. Let's
Yeah.
just call it metalwork.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Love that.
Anyway, I found a few, bought
Wonderful.
them. They're on the website.
Amazing.
Do as you wish with them. So yeah. Anyway, Jane, as you were with your
As I
cutting
will.
and stuff. I mean,
Need to
you
do that,
know,
sorry.
that's all right.
Making the set.
I was only coming to get it anyway. You just saved me a job.
Threw it at you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll have made all these lovely half square triangles, and this is where the fun part starts with making your quilt.
Right.
You will need to, you know, mix them all up if you want to, and want to be a bit more organised and not haphazard like I was. Not haphazard, that's the wrong word. Trying to think what the word is. Anyway,
I think we've discussed willy-nilly, haven't we?
Yeah. You'll need to make 10 pairs of half square triangles into what looks like a flying geese unit. So
Nice.
the reds together and then the creams together.
Okay.
And you'll have 10 pairs like that and 10 pairs like that. So if I just put those together now. If you think about this, you could maybe think about it when you're pressing. You could press so many towards the cream and so many towards the red. But I think, you know, just use your pins, because you might just lose the will to live if you try and work it out. Just put your pin in against the edge of your seam to keep them together.
Yeah, there's like an upgraded thinking if you could be bothered,
Yes.
isn't there? But who?
Yeah. I mean, we all like to do things differently, and you might like to take your time with this and really think about how you want your fabrics to go together, where you want your fabrics placing. I think the grid that Josh has very kindly created for me would help you with that. You could put little notations against it about where you wanted which fabric to be, and you could, you know, use it a little bit like a colouring chart, but not quite.
Sure. Yeah.
And that would give you. And like we say, you could then, you know, take your time with your pressing as well and think about where you wanted
You've got
your
options.
seams to go. I mean,
You've got options.
some of us like to take our time with our quilts, and you know, it's not all about throwing them together and getting them done.
The thing is, Jane, we always, like you and I, we're always up against it
Yeah,
for
we've
time.
always got a little time restraint on us, and I'm all for getting it done and getting it together. But I do know that actually sometimes the process of getting it done and getting it together is quite therapeutic as well.
Yes. Yes, yes, for sure.
You know, taking your time working out where your fabrics are going and how you want them to look and what you want to go together does make all the difference.
So you're just chain piecing here for anybody that's
Yeah,
going,
I'm
what
just
is
making
Jane actually doing?
pairs of half square triangles into what now look a little bit like flying geese units. And I just did this because I thought it made it a little bit simpler coming to put the rows together.
Right.
Because you could just sew rows of half square triangles together in the number that you need to sew to make your row. But I thought by making the two that come together in the middle to start with, because if I go back to the chart, I don't know if we can see on the rows here, you've got two half square triangles of red together there, and then you've got two half square triangles of cream together. And that's what forms the corners of the band of squares as you go round.
Right. Got it.
So I did that part first, and then I added on triangles either side. I just felt it made life a little bit simpler for me to work out and make sure I'd got everything together.
And that's ultimately what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it just anything that can help you work out, you know, how, and everybody's different, aren't they? Other people will see things differently and work slightly differently, but you've got a chart there that helps you and you can see it, but you may not want to do it this way. You may want to just sew rows of triangles together, and that's fine, but you just have to remember your orientation.
Yes. I wouldn't manage that. I will be following your chart. Absolutely following your chart, Jane. And especially as, you know, Josh went to the bother of it too.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, how was your day off yesterday?
Oh, I had a lovely time. It was my younger son's birthday. My younger son, now being 25, and Glenn and I were like, how have we got a 25-year-old child?
Can't be ours, surely.
We're not old enough.
No,
We're just, like, not grown up
no.
enough ourselves yet.
I guess that's the thing, isn't it? You know, that does sneak up on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly. You know, and I can remember quite vividly him being the same age as Emily is, you know, and all the things that we used to get up to when they were little.
Oh, the joy of the little ones.
That time is so, when you look back, it's so fleeting and such a special time.
And yet,
you know, and yet
when you're in it,
you're so busy, and it's like, oh gosh, these children, they're just like.
I had a very interesting.
And you do catch yourself thinking, oh God, I can't wait till they're older and they can do this for themselves.
Emily's latest thing is just, I do that as well.
Yeah.
That's that. I do that as well. And then she got really upset the other night with Freddie because Freddie told her that his cat was his best friend and not her. That stung.
Yeah, I bet.
Really did sting. So yeah, she was. But Freddie, you my best friend.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is sweet. You know,
It's
at least they're arguing
lovely.
over who likes each other most.
Yeah.
I can cope with that.
Yeah, that sort of argument is an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah. Bless them. What size block can you fit in the space? Oh, of the
I would say that's a.
Does it say on the instructions? Good question, Vic Pete. Hello, nice to see you here.
No, it doesn't say on the instructions, but I would say you would get a 12-inch block in there, but it's wider, so 12-inch.
We'll get a tape measure and measure it in a bit.
But,
Oh, Sylv has missed shenanigans. Do you know what? Actually, Gem's not here. She is a chief shenanigator here, so
she
that's
is the
fine.
shenanigator of all things.
In fact, I have asked her if she'd like to put that as her
Her job
job title because she does so many different things. It's like we'll just have you as chief shenanigator. Serious case of worcus interruptus. So rude. Sylv, you've got to knock that on the head. Come on. Just put aside these hours and say no.
So the border fabric, I'm calling it the border fabric. If we go to the main quilt, I have used the same fabric in these triangles around the edge. Just because
hang on.
I felt
Hang on. There you go.
a cohesion to the quilt. It's obviously, it's not obvious, I don't think. It's cream fabric and it.
Do you know what I did?
In.
I did notice it though. It was noticed.
And you don't have to do that. You can, because as I've shown you, you've got lots of cream fabric left over. So if you want your borders to be as varied as your half square triangles, you can cut your squares from your creams that you've got left over.
Yeah.
So it's a 7.5-inch square. You need 2 of them. I can't remember how many you need altogether, but it's in the instructions. You need to cut 2 of them in half along the diagonal, so you get 2 large triangles, half square triangles.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to cut the rest into quarters across the 2 diagonals.
Okay.
The larger ones are your corners, and then these smaller ones go at the side of your rows.
Okay, that's fair enough. Oh, Claire says, yeah, Adam was naughty the other day, so he got sent upstairs and halfway up he turned around and said, and growled, but mummy, I love you. Like, still naughty, go upstairs. Yeah. And that is the distinction that I try and make with mine, is that I love you, I do not love your behaviour right now.
Yes. That's quite a hard one to get across to them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think as children, they're very black and white.
Yeah.
And when you're cross with them, that's it. You don't like them because that's how they play at school, don't you?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I don't like you anymore, so. Yeah.
No. I love you. I do not love your behaviour.
That's right. So the corners is basically it's the red with the two together that make the flying geese style unit, and then you will add one of your quarter square triangles, and you need them to face inwards in the opposite direction.
Right.
And if you've got different coloured, you could change which ones you put on the edges. So you're going to sew those 1/4 of an inch onto the edge, lining up the short sides with your sides of your row, there and there. So your long edge of your triangle, which is actually the square, the straight edge of the fabric, so it's not on the bias. That's why we've done quarter squares.
Nice. Oh yeah, you're clever like that. I remember when Jenny Raymond came in on our designer takeover day,
Yeah.
and she explained all that to us. I remember you standing there going, "See, exactly that.
That's
exactly that."
I love it.
Oh, Sarah says, "Hi, I have some Moda mini charm packs. Can you buy fusible grid with 2.5 inch squares? Can only see 2 inch squares." No, it's only ever 2 inch squares. So what you do is you use that as your you use it as your guide for laying them out.
Yeah.
And every 4th one lies perfectly.
Yeah.
But you use the base line to line everything up, and then you know that every 4th one, and it works fine. It's, you know, it works absolutely fine. So do not panic. Have a go. Have a go.
It's a nice way of doing, again, something sort of takes a bit of the maths out of it all, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You can see it visually straight away by laying it on the grid. And
yeah, perfect.
And
oh, Elizabeth's come up with a great idea. You could put pockets on the other side of your block for tools, and then turn it around so that you're just showing off the block
so it
on
could be
one
a
side
tool
of the
caddy
the framey
that's a
thing.
great idea, Elizabeth.
I think it was somebody did write the sizes. She's our ideas girl, is
Yes.
Elizabeth. Honestly, she always comes up with great ideas. I think it was 24 inches by 14 inches. Did I see written down somewhere? There we go. Yeah, the stand measures 24 inches by 14 inches. So there you go.
Cool.
You'd get a 12 by 24 in them, wouldn't you? And that would be so like basically a double block.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. We got to the bottom of that. Hurrah!
So you do 2 corners with your reds and your quarter square triangles, and I think I've called them border triangles,
Right.
just to distinguish where they are rather than half square triangles.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have 2 rows like so, and then you take your larger triangle, and it is bigger, it is going to be bigger. Find the middle just by folding it in half along the long edge, giving it a pinch, and then lining that pinch up with your seam line, and then you'll know it's in the middle, and you can just pop a pin in along there and along the sides.
You know how I said, Jane, at some point I might have to just come and sit on the floor.
And charge your iPad.
I've got to the stage where I've got to come and sit on the floor.
Oh.
That will teach me, won't it? You know, attention to detail at every point. And I left the iPad running last night, so of course I've come down. It's got, this morning, no charge.
Oh.
Normally it would have been due to some sort of Paw Patrol incident. But, you know, can't blame the kids today.
No,
All my fault. All me.
it happens though, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. We've all done it. We've all left our phone. I mean, I've plugged mine into the charger before now and then realised I haven't plugged it in at the mains. So all the while I'm thinking it's charging, it's not doing a thing. And you're just
Not
like,
a thing.
What a waste of time that was.
Not a thing.
This machine is, I think, just not playing today. It keeps threading itself.
It is actually due for a service.
I think it's ready, yeah. I think it's ready.
And then,
Bit of TLC. Need to go to the spa, don't you, for the day?
well, it does. It really does. And then it's got a new home to go to, and we're getting one of the new machines.
I know, Gemma was telling me. I was quite excited about that.
Yes,
I was like,
we
ooh.
are. Gemma is watching from home today, which is another reason you need a power bank at HQ. I've got one, Gemma. It's at home.
Yeah. Not where I need it to be.
Not where I need it, clearly. But yes. Maybe I just like sitting on the floor, Gemma. Have you ever thought of that? No.
Yeah, because we all love that, don't we?
Yeah.
It's all right getting down. It's when you've got to get back up again that's the
Oh,
problem.
I know.
This machine is not happy today.
Oh, do you want to swap out and use the other one?
We'll keep going with it. We'll soldier on. So you'll end up with two triangle pieces like so. And they're your corners, and they're opposite corners. They're the top left and the bottom right.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So they go, in effect, they go like that within your quilt.
Right.
And then your next row is the cream, in effect the cream flying geese unit.
Oh, look at this.
And then you're going to add a triangle. Now this is where you need your seams running opposite each other. So that triangle is going to go on there, and that triangle is going to go on there. So it's the seams that are running opposite to each other, and then we'll be putting quarter square triangles on the ends of those, and you keep working your way out. So the next row will have a red one with the squares going with the cream.
Yeah.
So the creams will be against each other, so they run like so, and then the red ones will run against each other as well. So it's always going with the half square. Once you've got your flying geese units together, it's always going with the same colour triangle against it, but the seams running opposite to each other. And you just adding on one. So you might get to the point where you look at it and you think, well, actually what I'll do is I'll do pairs together. I'll make a load of pairs up.
Okay.
So that I've got some, but just remember that some of your rows will be odd. So
Yeah.
you can just look at that, but don't just go like I would go, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, I'll stick all of those together and then realise you've got to unpick half of them.
No!
So let's get those two, and then we'll just show you how the rows go together then.
Awesome. Oh, it does look good, Jane.
I love it, and I quite like the randomness of it.
I think it's part of its charm.
It does, yeah. It does give it a little bit of charm to it, so it's a little bit different. So you are making pairs of rows that are the same.
Right.
One for the top and one for the bottom, if that makes sense. They're identical rows. They're just when you come to put them together, you're just turning one row round.
Yeah.
Just this square on there.
This way, that way.
It's quite a good fun construction method, because when I first looked at it I was like, oh gosh, you've got to put all those triangles on points. But you don't.
No.
You are, but you're not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're just making rows, and you make 10 rows, 10 identical rows. 5 with the, you make 20 rows altogether, but they're 10 pairs.
Yeah, got it. So you just keep going.
You keep going, and as I say, you can pair up your triangles just to make life easier for you. And I think if you pair them up, it's less likely to banana your row.
Right, yeah.
So have a look at the rows on the chart, count how many triangles you need, and then pair them up
Okay.
as you need them. Let's just press that one out of the way, and then we'll get the other one done. And then I can show you very quickly how that forms a square, which, you know, you could make some like this and make cushions that match with your leftover pieces. So that row will go in there. So that one onto that side. And we could put that one on because it's slightly different. I tried to keep them so that I didn't have two against each other, but
It's going to happen though, isn't it, with randoms?
I didn't quite manage it, but I don't think it affects the overall effect too much.
Okay.
Because the thing is, when you're doing it in rows, you're never really sure, and doing it randomly, you're never really sure what it's going to go against in the next row.
Right, okay.
I mean, you could take the time once you've made all your half square triangles to lay it out in the pattern before you sewed them together.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to be doubly sure that you didn't have any of the same next to each other, you know, you've got the time to do that.
Yeah.
If you've got your design wall and everything that you've...
Design walls are a good thing, aren't they, in this instance? It just keeps you on track.
Yes.
And knowing where you are. We need to order some more.
It's really handy, you know, even for your rows, once you've made a row, to make sure that you've got the right row in the right place. Because it would be very easy to just have a load of rows and then pick up the wrong one and then wonder why it didn't fit together.
Naughty machine. It's having a right old time of it, isn't it?
It's having a bit of a protest, I think, this morning. We all have mornings like that, don't we?
Do you know what? Yeah.
Is it Myra that's having that sort of morning?
I mean, she just seems to be doing a lot of things in a dressing gown, to be fair. And that's, you know, we all have those mornings too.
Yeah, we do.
I very much doubt that Captain Small will be getting out of her pyjamas anytime soon today because she's not feeling very well.
She's feeling a bit under the weather.
Yeah.
I think it's this time of year, isn't it? They've all gone back to school and they all pick up all sorts of lurgies and things.
Well, and also because everyone's been shut in for so long.
Yes, I think everything's a bit more...
They're going to get everything, aren't they?
Yeah, stronger.
Yeah.
But children are quite resilient, aren't they, generally? They pick up a bug and then the next day they're quite... usually they're quite back to normal.
Do you know what? She'll have missed organising school.
Yes.
So she'll want to go back.
Yeah.
That's generally the thing. Whether they will have missed her organising school is another matter. But they do actually call her Captain Small there as well.
Do they?
Yes. She's so bossy.
So you will get the two middle rows, when you come to it, your two middle rows won't have the small triangles on the end, row 10 and row 11.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put those together, you actually put one of the half square triangles on the corner.
Oh,
you
I
can
see.
see
Nice.
that
Yeah.
in the chart. But as you can see here, if we put these together, so that row is exactly the same as the row I've just made. So they're identical, but by flipping it round then, it creates that square in the middle. And this corner is exactly the same as that corner. When I flip it round, it sits there.
Sorry, I'm sneezing quite a lot.
So that then makes, and that's how you put it together.
Perfect.
So you'll make 10 rows that are identical, 20 rows altogether, but your first 10 go that way and then your second 10 go up against it. And I suggest that you make the 10 rows and the other 10 rows, so you've got in effect two triangles.
Right.
And then bring the triangles together in that middle row.
Okay.
Again, I sewed my rows together in pairs and then sewed the pairs together. Bless you. She's sitting on the floor here, sneezing away, going, trying to do it as quietly as possible.
My mum's the same, and we just end up counting how many times we sneeze, and it's not.
Glenn's the same.
I don't know what it is.
He can't do one sneeze. He has to do about 10
millions
in
of
one
them.
go.
Millions of them. Jane, this is going to actually make, just this one that you've got here is going to make a really lovely cushion to go with the quilt. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm just going to put these together so that we can see how that looks. We might have to completely resew.
Auntie Lizzie, no.
What's
She says
she
that's
saying?
funny about Captain Small. How on earth do these traits come forth?
Yes. Can't imagine where she gets it from.
I
Lizzie, can
don't
you?
know. I just don't know.
Hard to imagine.
My mum tells me I get all I deserve with her.
Yeah.
Mean.
Your mum is silently giggling to
I know,
herself,
like, thank goodness.
Karma is a great thing.
Yeah. There is a God. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, we did have the conversation because my brother's got quite, let's just say, organising daughter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have a couple of days all together over half term. And my mum was just giggling, saying, I don't actually know who my money is on, Elsa or Emily. Like, I don't know. Strong, independent women. That's what we're raising here.
That's what we want.
Strong, independent women.
And do they take after your mum or your dad?
My dad isn't a strong, independent woman. No.
Yeah. Is he the organisational one then? Is he the one
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I don't think he'd like to be described as a strong, independent woman.
No, I'm pretty sure he probably wouldn't. Being the generation he is, he wouldn't take kindly to that.
Leslie says, just tuned in after Pilates. Oh, get you, Leslie.
Nice.
What a beautiful quilt. Do you know what? You could do a bit of Pilates on your quilt, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoe says, oh, I'm the same with sneezing. Can't do it just once. I was in the office the other day and my boss said, I've not missed your sneezing. Oh, that's nice,
Nice
isn't
of
it?
him.
Just lovely. Just lovely.
And of course, if you can remember, if you do your rows, when you're pressing your strips together, if you can remember to press row ones to one side and row twos, you know, the odds to one side and the evens to the other, that will help you when you're coming to put your rows together because you can nestle your seams.
Right. That's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Otherwise,
mean-
pin it.
Yeah. And I would recommend that you pinned it anyway, but because you'll get to row 10 and it's quite long and unwieldy.
Yeah.
So row 10 and row 11 don't have a small corner triangle on, the quarter square triangle. They're left with square ends so that when they're together you put your corner triangle over the end of them.
Right. Got it. Yeah, so Leslie's saying what a beautiful quilt, and we've got Donna. She says what a lovely quilt. Guys, there's £25 off this quilt bundle. You know, and that's the thing. If you love the fabric,
I was going to
there's
say you're
£25 off 8.5 metres of fabric there.
of Moda fabric.
Yeah, you might want to just invest in that anyway.
That is a bargain.
It is a bargain, and I try where I can, you know, just because I can. Because we've had a good week this week.
And don't forget, you know, we've got it by the half metre. So if you don't want the bundle or you want to change out some of the fabrics,
Pick and mix,
you can do that. You can add more to your bundle, make it bigger.
Make it big. It's big quilt.
It's a big quilt. It's 63 by 63, I think, finished size. So you know, you're going to have a nice size, sits on top of the bed type, double bed type size.
Oh, that's lovely. You can fit a fair few cats on that.
Absolutely.
Syl says, I'm the same too, never sneezed less than 2 times. My ex used to do a countdown between sneezes. You reckon they were like countdown? It's like clockwork, rather. It's funny, isn't it, what goes on in other people's houses?
Yeah, I'm the same. I count Glenn's.
Do
So,
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, that's 8. 2 more and we should be finished.
And what are sneezes for, anyway?
Well, really, they're to clear,
I know.
aren't they?
But we all
Your
try and
airways
hold them in.
stuff. You know.
So it negates it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Yeah, Sylv also specialises in the simultaneous cough, sneeze, hiccup.
Oh no, that must be quite painful. It must hurt the back of her throat.
I mean, as long as that's all that you end up doing, you'll be fine. Oh, Joanna says, my daughter was very argumentative when she was younger. one day I said to my mum, I just don't know where she gets it from. My mum looked at me and just said, really, don't you?
I do, she probably said. I do.
I don't think that needed to be said.
Yeah.
I think it was all in the intonation. Yep. You have this all to come, Jane.
I think that's maybe why I was given sons and not daughters.
You think?
Maybe I don't think I could have coped with a daughter. Two headstrong women in the same house may not have worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Teenagers are going to be fun, aren't they?
Mm.
Oh, hang on. Quilt bundle is 8.25 metres of fabric. Saving off buying all the fabrics individually is actually £31.19. Blimey! Was that generous?
You are generous.
Crikey. Yeah, it was.
Generous.
There we go, I've been corrected. So, yeah, quarter of a metre less than I said, but a bigger saving.
Absolutely.
That's all right, isn't it?
Amazing.
Thanks, Jem. See, if she'd have been sat in the corner. If we put Gemma in the corner, she could have just told us that.
Yeah. Isn't she supposed to be doing a course today?
I think she's meant to be doing a course, but I don't think the tutor sent her all the stuff that she was meant to have. So I think she's just sort of gone, well, meh.
So that's the principle of it. That's how you get to your squares within a square.
Oh, that's rather gorgeous, isn't it? Really rather gorgeous. Oh, I see what you mean about having the darker reds. It gives it a different definition, doesn't it?
Gives it a stronger definition of the bands.
Lovely. I mean, it works either way for me.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's the nice thing about quilting, isn't it? It's all personal choice.
It is. And the lovely way, you're not always quite sure of how it's going to look. And I think that's quite good fun. Gives you a bit of randomness.
Jane, I love it. Absolutely perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's a lovely pattern, and as I say, it's not my pattern per se. We've adapted it to work with fat quarters rather than layer cakes. But, you know, it's all come together and I think it looks lovely.
And if you had a layer cake, you could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. So remember to check out your baskets for the 108s.
Yeah.
To take the £31 something saving.
Yes,
on this
your
fabric.
Lovely bundle. Look,
yeah.
You can see that's a
big wodge, isn't it?
That's a solid bundle of fabric. That is. You've got a lovely selection of fabrics there.
And if you want any of the velvets, please get that order in. It won't be that you can't necessarily get them now. It's just that you won't be on this print run and you'll have to wait even longer.
Yes.
And also we have to have a certain amount. We have to guarantee a certain amount. So if you know, and otherwise we'd be waiting to get enough people together again to go for that print run. We know we have enough this time to do a print run. So if you want any of the velvets, could you just take down that cushion, Jane, so we can just have a little look at exactly what I mean by that. These are the velvets we were working with yesterday.
This is the carousel.
Yeah.
And we've also got this in the
red and turquoise.
Red and turquoise colour, which.
But this is just one of many, and we've got meter panels. We've got all sorts going on.
Absolutely beautiful.
Jane, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure, as always.
Ladies and gents, we will
blend
see
very
you.
well with this cushion.
You do actually, yeah. No, it's rather lovely, rather lovely. Alrighty then. So you lot at home, take care. Try and behave. No, you're not going to behave yourself at all. What am I saying?
Have fun.
Have fun. That's the one. Have fun. Have a great day. Think of me with sewage in my cellar.
Or not.
Or not. No, don't. Yeah. And all the rain dripping in through the ceiling. Can't wait to go home. And yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody might be working late tonight.
Very late. Very early as well. Yeah. Very late, very early. Yeah. With a couple of kids on a camp bed somewhere. Yes, excellent. Thank you all at home for watching. We will be back on Monday. And I'm going to think of something to do. I've got lots of ideas.
I was going to say,
I've just got to pin them to one. That is the trouble.
This is what happens, isn't it?
Yes.
We have all this fabric in and we want to make everything all at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely.
Alrighty then. Take care. Lots of love. Give us a wave, Jane. Bye.
Bye.